Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Freedom Ain't Free. In today's video, we're going to be talking about my house or my freedom, right? How much house can you actually afford? And we're going to dig into that conversation on today. But I want you to understand, first and foremost, the bank lied to you. Your real estate agent lied to you. Your spouse lied to you. You cannot afford that house. And we're going to jump into that conversation on today. Because if your goal is financial freedom, every single solitary dollar makes a difference. And so, my name is Hughey. I'm the principal of our financial strategies, where we work with Henrys, high earners, not rich yet. And we give them a step by step plan to get them to financial freedom. So, if you want to work with us, you can click on the link and schedule a free consultation. We'll put a plan together for you. But let's get into this math so you can have a clear understanding and a step-by-step methodology for figuring out what your next move is. I know you like your house. I know you love your neighborhood. I know you love your neighbors. I know you love the school that your kid goes through, but I want to give you another way of thinking about it, right? So if my goal is financial freedom is driven by my freedom number, the exact amount of money that I need to save and invest on a monthly basis so that I don't have to work anymore. And what our clientele is looking for is a doorway out, right? You put in the 15 years to 20 years, and you're looking, I got another 15 or 20 years to go if I stay on this path. So we want to give you a different path, a different way of thinking about things. So here's what the bank told you, right? You worked hard, you got your income up to $150,000 a year, you were ready to buy that next house so you could keep up appearances, so you could keep up with what you thought was gonna be important in the long grand scheme of things. You know, I worked hard, I deserve it. These are the conversations that Henrys have with themselves. And I want to live in this neighborhood, and I've done the hard work to get there. So you go to the bank, you apply for the mortgage. And the bank takes you through the 28-36 rule, right? The 28-36 rule. What is that? So the bank says that the most that you can afford is 28% of your annual income can go to your mortgage. So if you're making $150,000 a year, you take 28% of $150,000. That's $42,000 a year. The bank says you can afford for a mortgage. So that's basically $3,500 per month, right? That's the 28 part of the 28-36 rule. The 36 part says that no more than 36% of your income can go to debt payments and housing and all those other pieces of the puzzle. All right. So 36% of 150,000 is 54,000. So that's about $4,500 per month, right? So that's your mortgage, your car payments, your credit cards, your student loans. All of those things can be no more than $4,500 per month. Herein lies the problem with that math. They gave you credit for $150,000. You do not bring home $150,000 in this example. You are grossing $150,000. And what is happening to your $150,000 gross income? Well, first and foremost, I got to pay taxes. At a bare bones minimum, that's 24%. Depending on what state you live in, you got state income taxes on top of that. In addition to that, if you are a Henry, more than likely, if you are the breadwinner in your family, that means all the benefits are also coming out of your check. So the health insurance, the dental insurance, the short-term disability, the long-term disability, all of that is coming out of your paycheck in addition to the tax bill. You ain't bringing home nowhere near $150,000, right? And so when you do the real math, if you jumped out there and got you $3,500 a month in mortgage, you are what we like to refer to as house broke. I got a nice house, I got a nice car, but I don't have any money left in order to move the needle forward, any money left to get to financial freedom. I don't have any money left, right? I got the bare bones minimum going into my 401k, and I'm thinking about not doing that on a monthly basis just to have a little breathing room in the budget. And I want to tell you, I want to be the voice. I want to be the one to say, you can't work any harder than you're working, right? You put in the hours, you put in the time, you got the degrees, you've done all that you can do within that space. And yeah, I mean, this other job might pay you a little bit more, but if you're in this income bracket, every $15,000 to $20,000 that you make, you're losing a quarter of that in taxes, right? So a $20,000 raise didn't really change your monthly take-home income very, very much. And then how much more work do you need to do for that extra piece of income? You have got to get to financial freedom. So we want to give you an idea or strategy or thought process. Right now, I know what you're thinking, Joe. I can't give up my house, Joe. You got to come up with a better plan than give up my house. But I want you to ask yourself some really serious questions. And the serious question I want you to ask yourself is, what's really more important to you? Is your house more important to you, or is your financial freedom more important to you? So let's talk a little bit about financial freedom. So at Arc Financial Strategies, we work with Henrys, high earners, not rich yet. And one of the first things that I like to do with a new client is help them to define some words, right? So we want to define, what does retirement mean to you, right? What does financial freedom mean to you? So when I say financial freedom, I'm referring to income. I want my clients to have $120,000 to $160,000 a year coming in from their assets. In order for us to do that, we got to build you out a $2 million portfolio. And from there, we need to know how much money you need to save every single solitary month for you to get to that $2 million portfolio. And everybody's numbers are different. So for you, here's what we're going to do for you today. Down in the description below, you're going to see a link. It says, get your freedom number, right? Click on that link. I'm going to tell you exactly how much money you need to save on a monthly basis to build out that $2 million portfolio, get yourself to financial freedom. And guess what? Best part, I'm going to give it to you for free, right? No strings attached. Click the calculator. I'm not saving your calculations, right? Click the calculator. You got it. You'll know exactly how much you need to save every month. Now, after you do that, I want you to go back and look at that house. I want you to go back and look at that mortgage. I want you to go back and look at that car payment. I want you to go back and look at that student loan payment. I want you to go back and look at the credit cards. And I want you to say, hey, you know what? If I didn't have all of this debt, that number right there is very doable. So how do I get out of the situation that I'm in? You got to make the decision, right? I want to be financially free. So if I want to be financially free and I can't work any more than I'm working, right? I don't have time to go out and build a real estate business. I don't have time to sit down and figure out the math of crypto. I don't have time to start another business. I don't have time to do that. My career takes up all of my time in that space. I've got to get my investments. I've got to get my insurance strategies to be able to do that. I got to get my money building me more money, right? So with that being the strategy, we got to evaluate what the goal is. And if your goal is financial freedom, and by that financial freedom, I want you to get that the understanding behind that is going to allow you to go after those things that you're passionate about. When you get to financial freedom, that's going to give you the opportunity to spend time with your family. When you get to financially free, that's going to give you an opportunity to go and work in your community. All of those pieces of the puzzle is what comes with financial freedom. Would you trade your house for that? And I want to remind you, Warren Buffett still lives in the same house that he bought when he first got started in business. Still lives in that same house, right? So if Warren Buffett can do it, by surely we can too, right? So evaluate your debt, evaluate your spending habits, get your freedom number, and then that's going to tell you what kind of changes that you need to make within that structure. I promise you, right, that a smaller house is gonna not be as bad as you think it's going to be. But in the long run, when we get financially free and we get all the other pieces of the puzzle, guess what? You go back and buy that dream home again. But now you're in a completely different position in the dream house. It's now living for you instead of you living for it. I want you guys to take an opportunity. Make sure you click, get your freedom number, go back and do the math. If you need some help, schedule a free consultation. We'll take you through this housing analysis and make some specific recommendations to you. We thank you. We want to see you in our next episode. And remember, freedom ain't free.